What's up, everybody, and welcome to SANDCAST U. My name is Madison Fitzpatrick, and I'm your host. And if you know me by now, I am a no-nonsense, let's get down to business, let's talk about what truly matters kind of girl. So let's get right into it. I want to talk about the Death Volley Invitational that happened on the 28th and the 29th this past weekend. It featured some of the top teams in the country in FSU, TCU, Stanford, Long Beach, Texas, USC, UCLA, you name it, LSU. All the teams were there, some of the top teams in the country. So we saw some absolute battles, and it was so much fun. So what we're going to talk about here today on SANDCAST U is the Death Volley Invitational. All right, the first team that I want to talk about was TCU. TCU went 3-0 this past weekend at a really tough tournament. They took down Stanford, Long Beach, and they upset UCLA. TCU was number 2, UCLA was number 1. They got the upset. In the UCLA win, courts 5-3 and 2-1, and it was to decision. So recorded, it goes 3-0, TCU beat UCLA. Interesting storyline. Tanya Moreno was not at the Death Volley Invitational, so Haley Hamlett got the call up from 2s to 1. Man, did she deliver. She rose to the challenge so beautifully. Her and Daniela Alvarez, it was like they'd been playing together their whole lives. It was so high level. The cool thing about Haley Hamlett, though, is that she has a ton of experience playing on that ones court, because when Alvarez and Moreno went to the Olympics last season, Hamlett was at the ones and she went 30-6. So Haley Hamlett, really impressive this weekend, all the way around, stepping up when her team needed her. In the UCLA win, I mentioned 5-3 and 2 for TCU won. Gonzalez and Reeves clinched the point for the Frogs as they won on court 2 over Miskowski and Brennan. And you know that UCLA pair is one of the best in the country and really difficult to beat. That's where the match got clinched. And then Alanis Navas and Sophia on court 3 took down Bauer and Alden 23-21, 21-8. And one of the reasons why they got AVCA Pair of the Week is because that performance, absolutely insane to hold UCLA to 21-8. This pair is now 10-0 in 2025. They've only dropped one set when they played together all season long, so look out for that pair for TCU. All right, next up I want to talk about USC. USC is in the toughest position, in my opinion, in the country, because if you are USC, you have the biggest target on your back that you could ever have. The pressure is on you constantly because every single team in the country wants to take USC down. It's a really difficult position to be in because they're getting everybody's bests. Pressure is a privilege, though. I always love to say that, and you can tell Dane Blanton knows that, and he's instilling that in his girls. It's also the youngest USC team that we've seen in years, so that pressure that they feel being USC, that's new to a lot of them. They got upset by LSU, FSU, and then they beat Texas, but it was a solid battle. USC's twos continue to impress in Ashley Pater and Kennedy Coakley. And the bright spot this weekend at the Death Valley Invitational was definitely the twos. They handily defeated FSU, LSU, and Texas, making them 16-2 together on the season. Watch out for Pater and Coakley. All right, next up, let's talk about FSU. FSU got the biggest upset of their season so far when they took down USC, who's ranked number 4 coming into the tournament. Then they beat Long Beach, and they were 1 or 2 swings away from beating Stanford. It came down to one court. It went into overtime. They were 1 or 2 swings away from defeating Stanford, but they fell to Stanford and they fell to UCLA. There are a few things about FSU that are talking points that impress me. First of all, Koenig and Durish, they took down USC, and they fell to UCLA 15-13 in the third. This ones pair for FSU is a true ones pair. They have great promise. They're extremely athletic. I love how often they run the option. They're just really fun to watch, and I think that they're going to be a threat at Gulf Shores. Another talking point for FSU, McKenna Wolf and Mariah Massey really solid on the fours for Florida State. They beat USC and UCLA, and Kara Sasick and Bailey Higgins at the threes were the ones that clinched it in the win over USC. Both of these pairs, 3s and 4s for FSU, are young, hungry, and extremely athletic. So watch out for those as we move closer to Gulf Shores. All right, now UCLA. They got upsetted by TCU, they beat FSU, and they beat Texas, but in a little bit of a nail-biter. Maggie Boyd and Sally Perez continue to impress. They're virtually unstoppable at times. Sally Perez is getting targeted a lot in serve-receive, but this girl, even though she is a freshman, she has a glittery resume, she's experienced playing under pressure, and she can side out at such a high clip, and in so many ways, it's so impressive. And then Maggie Boyd in transition, the way she scoops up a cut shot, transitions off the net, easy kill. She just makes it look so easy in transition because she's a winner. She knows how to win. And what's a cool storyline about these two is that Maggie Boyd has played at the ones all her years at UCLA, and she was a freshman and a sophomore and a little bit younger on the ones, and Lexi Denenberg was a leader to her, and they were a really good pairing. Well, now Sally Perez is a freshman on the ones, and Maggie Boyd is allowed to be that kind of leader and veteran, and so that's a really cool opportunity for her, and she's stepping up to the challenge because Maggie Boyd and Sally Perez are dangerous. Next up, I want to talk about Stanford. Stanford is very deep and very talented. Andrew Fuller has kind of been playing around with the lineups a little bit, but when he gets those set, I have a feeling that when they get into a rhythm, they are going to be able to make a very deep run in Gulf Shores. They beat Texas, they fell to TCU, but 2-3. They beat FSU, and that was a really tight game. It came down to one court, and then they handled LSU. So the athleticism from Stanford is really impressive and something that makes them dangerous. And as Andrew Fuller continues to figure out what lineup is best for his team, I just have a feeling they're going to keep going up and up and up, and the sky's the limit for Stanford. Next up, Texas. The ones are very impressive for Texas, and I don't throw that out lightly, and you guys know I only talk about the pairs and the teams that I feel like are really justified in being talking about. We're not wasting our time here. Well, that's why I'm telling you the ones for Texas are so impressive. It's Chloe Charles and Eva-Lisa Kuivonen. Chloe Charles is everywhere. On defense, she is scooping up these plays that you just think are over and that it's done, but she's got a never say die kind of mentality, and she's super scrappy. And then Eva is really big at the net. Her presence is really big at the net. It's obvious that Stein and Angie Akers, they know how to create a culture and a winning mindset, and they are doing that at Texas. I said it before, but Texas is not starting down here as a new program. No, they are starting up here, and they have the pieces to do it. And they're pushing teams, and they're being so extremely competitive week in and week out. Last weekend, they upset LMU, so they have the ability to take these massive wins, and they're going to be a threat at Gulf Shores, mark my words. Last team I want to talk about is LSU. LSU is fun. LSU knows how to put on a freaking show. Their tournament was an absolute blast, and they upset USC in the process, so that made it even more of a show for all of their fans who were coming to watch. They went 2-2. They upset USC, like I said. They lost to UCLA 2-3, so it was a pretty close battle. They beat Long Beach 3-1, and then they lost to Stanford 0-3. Parker Bracken and Gabby Bailey are dangerous, and they're very entertaining. They beat USC and UCLA, and in their UCLA win, you guys, it went 34-32, all the way that high, and they found a way to win. They were scrappy, they were enthusiastic, they were very energized, and it was really fun to watch. And those are two really good wins against the top teams in the country for Gabby Bailey and Parker Bracken. I give Gabby Bailey the MVP of that LSU team. She was extremely clutch. She made these great diving plays along the net, really dynamic and athletic. So good for you, Gabby Bailey. Not that it matters that you're my MVP, but I'm giving it to you. All right, you guys, I know that was a lot. I know that was fast and furious, but I am really thankful that you joined me. I'm really excited about Gulf Shores, and I hope that you continue to tune into SANDCAST U because I love having you. I'll see you next time.